So, Minecraft Live 2022 happened a few days ago, and I think there's kind of a mixed bag reaction to a lot of what we saw. But for the most part, people are pretty happy. We're getting things like the Sniffer, we're going to get camels, we're going to get some really interesting new stuff coming along the way, and they haven't even announced everything yet. And that's kind of what spurred the idea for this video, this fact that Mojang is trying to kind of not overpromise and then underdeliver, and so make updates that either develop more and more before their release instead of promising a lot all at once and then waiting a long time or not delivering on all of it, or smaller updates. And they've said that they like making smaller updates. 1.15 was kind of like that. And personally, I find that smaller updates are actually kind of fun because you don't have to put so much pressure or expectations on this massive update to a game, and you don't need to keep making more and more massive updates, because if you do, you'll only really try and outdo yourself every time, and eventually that might just lead to overcluttering. Of course, we don't have a theme yet for what exactly 1.20 is going to be, but I think it's safe to say it's probably going to be archaeology. And even if it isn't, the whole small update thing got me thinking what 1.21 could look like if it was a smaller update. So I put together this kind of idea, concept, proposal thing to sort of outline what I would personally love to see come to the game at some point, and perhaps in 1.21. And I'm calling the concept the Sunshine Update. A lot of the themes in this concept update are really kind of cozy, kind of homey, almost nostalgic, I would say. So if you like warm colors, warm tones, and perhaps even warm feelings, then I think that you'll like what I have put together here. Obviously, from the thumbnail and from the image I'm showing right now, one of the things that I would love to see in the game at one point are moo blooms. If you don't know, moo blooms, which were actually in Minecraft Earth for a little while until the game was shut down, were one of the mob votes from a couple of years ago. The Glow Squid won over it, and the idea for a moo bloom is it's a flower cow of some kind. And what exactly it does, what it was going to do, we're not too sure. Basically, all we know was that it was going to have something to do with bees, and it was going to spawn in flower forests. I kind of wanted to sort of tweak the idea a little bit, because I think that there's more mechanics that could really go into making the moo bloom a really tiny but really cool addition to the game. So they're going to be these yellow flower cows that spawn in sunflower plains under very specific conditions that I'll get into later. So they're a rare thing to find. They're not just kind of wandering the world. And they're not even found all the time naturally like mushrooms are. They have to actually be found under very specific conditions. Once you find one, though, it would be a good idea to take one with you somewhere if you plan to do any agriculture, because bees are extremely attracted to these moo blooms. So much so that if a moo bloom is contained in an area, bees will actually post up hives, multiple of them, at the nearest trees to that moo bloom, and will actually siphon the honey and stuff, and they'll pollinate the moo bloom. The moo bloom can also be milked to give this thing called moo bloom honey, which is basically going to operate as like a small kind of hunger thing where you can drink it and gain like maybe 1 or 2 hunger points. But the really cool thing about moo bloom honey is that you can give it to an animal or a pet, and it will actually heal the pet of any negative status effects that it has. Let's say you're fighting a witch and your wolf goes in for a bite. It kills the witch, but maybe the witch has poisoned your wolf, or maybe your cat gets the wither effect while you're fighting the wither. You can actually feed that animal moo bloom honey, and it will get rid of that status effect, so you don't have to worry about your animal dying and spending food on it. But the question is, how would you get this moo bloom? And that's where the number 2 thing comes in: sun showers. Sun showers are, in reality, this really cool little weather phenomenon where sometimes there'll be enough rain clouds that it still rains, and rather densely, but it's pretty sunny outside still. It isn't like a total overcast type of thing. And sun showers are one of my personal favorite kind of weather patterns, and I would love to see them in the game where you have this sunny day but there's still rain coming down, maybe in just very short pockets that maybe only last a minute or so. And it would be under those conditions in a sunflower plains biome that a cow has a chance to become a moo bloom. That way, you kind of have this agricultural incentive to go out and not only find this sunflower plains biome and stay there for a while and wait for the weather, but to actually spend that time and to have a goal to achieve at the end of that. Who knows how far you have to travel to the nearest one, but it would be worth it if you're looking to get that honey farm, or if you just want a moo bloom. Since this conceptualized 1.21 is kind of going for a very cozy and nostalgic feel, one thing that I think would be really cool to have in it is cameras. Cameras were planned way far back, but were never actually added into the game aside from Education Edition. And the cameras that would be in this update will basically work in a very similar vein, but will have a bit more of a sort of nostalgia or memory-keeping aspect to them, which is something that Minecraft seems to want to go for a lot lately. With a camera, you can actually post it up and enter its GUI, and it'll look kind of like a Spyglass's GUI, where you have that kind of border, and the border is what your photograph is going to actually look like. And you can take a photograph, and it will actually give you the photograph as an item, kind of like a map. You can't stack them or anything. They'll each be their own individual, photo 1, photo 2, photo 3, and things like that. And with these photos, you can actually hang them up on an item frame and store memories in a visual way and be able to come over to someone's house and see pictures from when they were off on their adventures. Or maybe someone can come to your house and really wow at your photographs of all these cool places you've been, or all these cool things you and your friends have done, or all these, interesting places that you've dug up and things like that. Which, ultimately, just leaves one thing left to be updated. For the love of God, the glow sack is blue. Make this blue.